There's a man I worked with, Tim, 52 years old. He lost 18 pounds in 3 months. His friends said he looked thinner. His doctor said, "Good job." But Tim didn't feel good. He was tired, weak. He couldn't carry groceries without needing to rest. His belly fat barely budged. So he came to me and said something I'll never forget. I thought I was losing fat, but I think I lost myself instead. And you know what? He was right. Tim didn't lose fat. He lost muscle. And he's not alone. Most people over 40 are making the exact same mistake, and they don't even know it. See, when we try to lose weight, especially after 40, our body doesn't just burn fat. It goes after muscle first. And when you lose muscle, everything gets harder. Your metabolism slows down, your strength fades, your belly fat becomes more stubborn, and your risk of weight regain skyrockets. The truth is, you don't have to be in your 70s to start losing muscle. It often starts in your 40s and picks up speed with every year you ignore it. And here's the kicker. Most popular weight loss plans only make it worse. But there's good news. If you protect your muscle while losing fat, your body works with you, not against you. You get leaner, stronger, and your metabolism stays sharp. And today, I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. I've put together a simple, powerful plan called the L.E.A.N formula. 4 things your body must have if you want to burn fat without losing muscle. Let's start with the first, and maybe the most misunderstood one. L stands for lift. Because if you're not using your muscle, your body thinks you don't need it. The hidden problem after 40. You're not just losing fat, you're losing muscle. Most people think that when they gain weight in their 40s and 50s, it's just a matter of eating too much or not moving enough. But what if I told you the real issue is something far more silent and far more dangerous? Let me explain. A woman named Karen, she's 54, came to me not long ago. She had been on a popular low-calorie diet. In just 2 months, she dropped 12 pounds. She was thrilled, at first. But then, something strange happened. She felt weaker. Her knees started aching more during her walks. She couldn't open jars like she used to. Her belly looked smaller in the mirror, but it still felt soft, and her energy tanked by 2 p.m. every day. She thought maybe it was just age catching up. But when we looked closer, it wasn't age. It was muscle loss. What most people don't realize is that after the age of 30, you naturally start losing muscle mass. It might only be 1% per year, but that adds up. By the time you're 50, you may have lost up to 10% of your muscle, without even knowing it. And here's the part that's even more troubling. When you try to lose weight without a proper plan, your body doesn't just burn fat. It often burns muscle first, especially if you're over 40, especially if you're not eating or moving the right way. This is a problem because muscle is your metabolic engine. It's what helps you burn calories, stabilize blood sugar, maintain balance, and keep your joints supported. When you lose it, even everyday tasks become harder. And your metabolism, it slows down, making it easier to gain fat back, even when you're eating less than before. So what happened to Karen? We adjusted her approach. She started strength training just twice a week. She added more protein to her meals. Within 6 weeks, she wasn't just leaner, she was stronger. Her energy came back. Her belly fat started to shrink for real. And her confidence, it skyrocketed. Here's the lesson. Weight loss after 40 isn't just about eating less or moving more. It's about protecting what your body needs most, your muscle. Because if you don't, you'll lose weight, yes, but it won't be the right kind of weight. And it'll come at a cost you'll feel every day. So the real question becomes, how do we burn fat without losing muscle? That's exactly where the L.E.A.N formula comes in. And it starts with the first and perhaps most overlooked step. L.E.A.N formula. A simple plan to burn fat without losing muscle. So how do you lose weight without losing what your body needs most, your muscle? That's where the L.E.A.N formula comes in. This is the same four-part strategy I use with my patients in their 40s, 50s, even 60s and beyond. It's simple, flexible, and scientifically backed. But more importantly, it works with your body, not against it. Now, when I say lean, I'm not just talking about getting leaner in appearance, though that's a nice bonus. I'm talking about helping your body hold on to its strength, its energy, and its shape while burning the right kind of weight, fat. Each letter in the word lean stands for one key element your body absolutely needs if you want to lose fat without losing muscle. Skip one, and the whole system becomes unstable. But put them all together, and the results can be transformational, especially after 40, when your body doesn't respond the way it used to. Let me give you an example. A gentleman named Mark, he was 58, came to me frustrated after a year of trying everything. He tried keto, fasting, cardio 5 days a week. The scale moved, but his energy plummeted. He was losing inches in his arms and legs, but his belly barely changed. He said, "I feel like I'm shrinking, not getting fit." That's because his approach was burning muscle instead of fat. Once we walked through the L.E.A.N formula and made a few simple changes, nothing extreme, Mark started losing fat around his midsection, regaining his strength, and feeling like himself again. And here's the kicker. He was working less, not more. So what's in the L.E.A.N formula? L stands for lift, because if you're not actively using your muscles, your body will break them down. E stands for eat enough protein, because after 40, your body needs more of it, more often, to preserve lean mass. A stands for avoid starvation, because cutting too many calories too fast doesn't just slow your metabolism, it burns muscle and increases fat regain. N stands for never skip sleep, because recovery is when your body repairs, rebuilds, and burns fat the most efficiently. Each of these steps is simple on its own, but together they form a plan that's powerful enough to change how your body handles fat and how you feel in your own skin. Let's break down each step in detail, starting with L, the first and maybe most important key to staying strong, lean, and energized after 40, lifting. Yes, resistance training. And don't worry, it doesn't mean heavy weights or hours in the gym. Let me show you how easy and effective it can be. A simple plan to burn fat without losing muscle. So how do you lose weight without losing what your body needs most, your muscle? That's where the L.E.A.N formula comes in. This is the same four-part strategy I use with my patients in their 40s, 50s, even 60s and beyond. It's simple, flexible, and scientifically backed. But more importantly, it works with your body, not against it. Now, when I say lean, I'm not just talking about getting leaner in appearance, though that's a nice bonus. I'm talking about helping your body hold on to its strength, its energy, and its shape while burning the right kind of weight, fat. Each letter in the word lean stands for one key element your body absolutely needs if you want to lose fat without losing muscle. Skip one, and the whole system becomes unstable. But put them all together, and the results can be transformational, especially after 40, when your body doesn't respond the way it used to. Let me give you an example. A gentleman named Mark, he was 58, came to me frustrated after a year of trying everything. He tried keto, fasting, cardio 5 days a week. The scale moved, but his energy plummeted. He was losing inches in his arms and legs, but his belly barely changed. He said, "I feel like I'm shrinking, not getting fit." That's because his approach was burning muscle instead of fat. Once we walked through the L.E.A.N formula and made a few simple changes, nothing extreme, Mark started losing fat around his midsection, regaining his strength, and feeling like himself again. And here's the kicker. He was working less, not more. So what's in the L.E.A.N formula? L stands for lift, because if you're not actively using your muscles, your body will break them down. E stands for eat enough protein, because after 40, your body needs more of it more often to preserve lean mass. A stands for avoid starvation, because cutting too many calories too fast doesn't just slow your metabolism, it burns muscle and increases fat regain. N stands for never skip sleep, because recovery is when your body repairs, rebuilds, and burns fat the most efficiently. Each of these steps is simple on its own, but together they form a plan that's powerful enough to change how your body handles fat and how you feel in your own skin. Let's break down each step in detail, starting with L, the first and maybe most important key to staying strong, lean, and energized after 40, lifting. Yes, resistance training. And don't worry, it doesn't mean heavy weights or hours in the gym. Let me show you how easy and effective it can be. L equals lift to keep muscle. Why walking isn't enough anymore. Let's start with the L in the lean formula, lift. And no, I don't mean you need to become a bodybuilder or start bench pressing in a gym full of 20-somethings, but I do mean this. If you're not actively challenging your muscles, your body assumes you don't need them and starts breaking them down. After 40, this happens faster than you think. I often hear people say, but I walk every day, and that's great. Walking is good for your heart, your joints, and your mental health. But here's the honest truth. Walking alone isn't enough to stop muscle loss, especially after 40. The kind of exercise that protects and preserves your muscle is resistance training, something that challenges your muscles against force, whether that's your body weight, a resistance band, or a dumbbell. Take Frank, a 61-year-old accountant who told me he walked 10,000 steps a day and still felt weaker each year. He assumed it was just aging. But when we looked closer, he hadn't done a single movement in months that truly challenged his muscles. No squats, no pressing, no pulling, just steps. We started small. Twice a week, 20-minute sessions, mostly body weight. Within 6 weeks, he told me something that made me smile. I'm walking less, but I feel stronger. His posture improved, his back pain lessened, and yes, his belly fat finally started to shrink. You see, muscle is a use it or lose it asset. The older we get, the more our body resists building muscle, a process called anabolic resistance. The only proven way to push back is through strength training, and it doesn't have to be complicated. What matters is consistency and challenge. Start with 2 to 4 sessions a week. Focus on big, functional movements like squats, lunges, rows, and presses. These target multiple muscle groups at once and mimic real-life motions, making your body more capable, not just thinner. You don't need fancy machines or heavy weights. Use resistance bands, light dumbbells, or even your own body. Work in 2 to 3 sets per move, aiming for 8 to 12 reps or 45 to 60 seconds of effort. Rest between rounds. And remember, challenging doesn't mean painful. It just means you're asking more from your body than it's used to, and in return, it gets stronger. The lesson here is simple but powerful. You don't age into weakness. You drift into it when your muscles stop being used. But the moment you start training them again, even just a little, your body begins to respond. Now that you know why lifting is essential, let's talk about the fuel that makes it all possible. Protein. Because even with the perfect workout, if your body doesn't have the right building blocks, it simply can't hold on to muscle. A. Avoid starvation. Why eating too little destroys your muscle. Now let's talk about something that feels counterintuitive. Eating too little can actually make fat loss harder, not easier. This is the A in our L.E.A.N formula. Avoid starvation. Because after 40, your body becomes incredibly sensitive to undereating. And if you go too far, it won't just burn fat, it'll burn muscle too. I know the logic seems simple. If I eat less, I'll lose more. And yes, in the short term, cutting calories quickly might move the scale. But here's what most people don't realize. Your body doesn't want to lose weight, it wants to survive. And when it senses that energy is scarce, it goes into conservation mode. It slows your metabolism, increases hunger hormones, and perhaps most damaging, it breaks down muscle for energy. Because muscle burns more calories than fat, your body sees it as expensive to keep. So when you're not eating enough, guess what goes first? not the fat, the muscle. This happened to a client of mine named Dennis. He's 49, a busy dad, and had tried intermittent fasting and a very low-carb, low-calorie diet. He lost 20 pounds in 8 weeks, but his energy crashed, his sleep got worse, and when he had a body scan done, he found he'd lost nearly as much muscle as fat. "I thought I was doing everything right," he said, "but I feel like I aged 10 years." We slowed things down, added calories back in from clean proteins and healthy fats, and built his meals around real whole foods. Within a few weeks, his energy improved, his workouts felt better, and he actually started burning fat more consistently, without touching his muscle. So how do you avoid starvation mode and still lose fat? The key is a gentle calorie deficit, usually around 300 to 500 calories below maintenance. That's it, not 1,000, not skipping every meal. Just enough to trigger fat burning, without making your body panic. One of the easiest ways to do this is by cutting out snacking, especially those small bites or drinks between meals that spike insulin and interrupt fat metabolism. Instead, build 3 balanced meals each day, each with clean protein, healthy fats, and fiber-rich carbs. And if you're using fasting, try rotational fasting, not every day, not extreme. Just a few days a week, paired with dirty fasting tools like protein coffee, MCT oil, or bone broth to keep your body nourished without a heavy insulin response. The takeaway is this: your goal isn't to eat as little as possible. It's to eat just enough to support fat loss while protecting the muscle that keeps you healthy, mobile, and strong. Starving your body never ends well. Fueling it wisely, that's the long game. And speaking of the long game, there's one more piece that too many people ignore: rest and recovery. Because the magic doesn't happen when you work out, it happens when you sleep. N equals never skip sleep, the missing piece in most fat loss plans. The final piece of the L.E.A.N formula is one that most people overlook, but it might just be the most powerful of all. N stands for never skip sleep. Because no matter how well you eat, how smart you train, or how perfectly you plan your meals, if you're not sleeping enough, your body simply can't recover, rebuild, or burn fat efficiently. Let me tell you about Julie. She's 50, works full-time, takes care of her elderly mother, and squeezes in workouts early every morning. She was doing everything right. Resistance training, high-protein meals, cutting back on sugar, but the scale wouldn't budge, and her cravings were out of control. When we dug deeper, we found the culprit. She was averaging just 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night. Her body was running on fumes. Her stress hormones were sky high, and as it turns out, that one missing piece, sleep, was holding her back from all the progress she deserved. Research backs this up. In one study, 2 groups followed the exact same weight loss program, but one group slept 8 hours a night, while the other only got 5. Both lost weight, but the group with less sleep lost 60% more muscle and held on to more fat. Let that sink in. Same food, same workouts, radically different results just because of sleep. Why does this happen? Because sleep is your body's recovery window. It's when your muscles repair, your hormones balance, and your brain resets. Without it, your cortisol levels rise, which leads to fat storage, especially around the belly, and your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, get thrown off. That means more cravings, less willpower, and more emotional eating. Sound familiar? So what can you do? First, aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Second, build a bedtime routine that calms your system. Dim the lights an hour before bed, put your phone away, and create a quiet, cool sleeping space. A warm shower, herbal tea, or even 10 minutes of light stretching can help signal your body that it's time to wind down. And if your mind races at night, try journaling or writing down a to-do list for the next day so you don't carry it into bed with you. The truth is, sleep isn't a luxury. It's a pillar of health. And after 40, when your body's ability to recover naturally slows, getting consistent, restorative sleep can be the difference between fat loss that sticks and frustration that doesn't go away. Now that you've learned the full L.E.A.N formula, let's put it all together into a simple, practical plan. A checklist you can start using today to protect your muscle, burn fat, and feel strong in your body again. Ready? Let's wrap it up. The Muscle Protection Checklist, Recap, and Action Plan. Now that you've seen all 4 parts of the L.E.A.N formula, Let's bring it all together into one simple, practical checklist, what I like to call the Muscle Protection Plan. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about losing weight, it's about holding on to what makes you strong, energized, and independent: your muscle. Here's the recap. L is for lift. Twice to 4 times per week, do something that challenges your muscles. That could be bodyweight exercises at home, resistance bands, or dumbbells. Focus on big movements like squats, presses, rows, and lunges. It doesn't have to be long or intense, just consistent. E is for eat enough protein. Aim for 25 to 35 grams of protein at each meal. That might look like 3 eggs with breakfast, a grilled chicken salad for lunch, and salmon with quinoa for dinner. Remember, if you're over 40, your body doesn't respond to protein the way it used to, so you've got to be intentional. A is for avoid starvation. Stop cutting calories so aggressively. Create a small, sustainable deficit, just enough to trigger fat loss without pushing your body into breakdown mode. Eliminate snacking between meals and instead focus on 3 balanced meals with clean protein, healthy fats, and fiber. N is for never skip sleep. Treat your sleep like medicine, because that's what it is. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Create a calm environment, power down your phone, and protect your rest like you protect your workouts. I know that's a lot to take in, especially if you're starting fresh. But here's what I tell every patient who feels overwhelmed. Just start with 1. Pick one habit. Maybe it's adding more protein to breakfast or going for a short resistance workout twice this week. Maybe it's committing to 7 hours of sleep tonight. Whatever it is, take 1 step today. Then another tomorrow. Over time, those steps become momentum, and momentum becomes transformation. One of my favorite patient stories came from a man named Richard. He was 64, pre-diabetic, and hadn't worked out in over a decade. We started with one small thing: no snacking after dinner. That's it. Then he added protein to breakfast. Then a weekly strength workout with his grandson. Within 3 months, he lost 12 pounds of fat, gained energy, and most importantly, felt proud of his body again. So if you're feeling stuck, frustrated, or unsure where to begin, remember, this is not about perfection. It's about protection. Protect your muscle, protect your strength, protect your future. And if you're ready for the next step, let's build your full 30-day action plan. What to eat, when to eat, how to move, and how to recover. Designed specifically to help you lose fat without sacrificing muscle. I'll walk you through it, step by step, in the next video. Let's get started. The 30-day muscle fat reset plan. So now you've learned the full lean formula. You understand why protecting muscle is non-negotiable after 40, and how the right habits around lifting, eating, fueling, and sleeping can completely transform not just your weight, but your strength, energy, and confidence. But I know what you might be thinking now. Okay, this all sounds great, but where do I actually start? That's exactly why I created the 30-day muscle fat reset plan. It's a step-by-step guide designed for people just like you, men and women over 40 who want to lose fat, preserve muscle, and feel like themselves again without crash diets, extreme workouts, or exhausting routines. This plan puts everything we've talked about into one clear path, so you don't have to figure it out on your own. Inside the 30-day plan, I'll walk you through exactly what to do, what to eat, including a full sample meal plan, food lists, and recipes that are high in protein, balanced in clean fats and fiber, and designed to keep blood sugar stable. When to eat. We'll talk about realistic meal timing, how to use light fasting safely, and how to avoid the blood sugar crashes that sabotage fat loss. How to train. With simple, joint-friendly resistance workouts you can do at home in 20 to 30 minutes. No fancy equipment required. How to recover. Including sleep strategies, stress management tools, and a few surprising boosters that can accelerate your results when done right. And the best part? It's not just a diet, it's a lifestyle reset. This plan is built for the real world, where you have work, family, stress, and days when motivation is low. I've seen people in their 40s, 50s, and even 70s use this approach to lose stubborn belly fat, rebuild strength, lower their blood pressure or blood sugar, and feel in control again, sometimes for the first time in years. So if you're tired of quick fixes, if you're ready for a path that actually respects where your body is right now, and if you want a method that you can actually stick to, the 30-day muscle fat reset plan is where you begin. Click the video right here to dive in. I'll guide you through every step. No pressure, no perfection, just progress, one day at a time. Your healthiest years are still ahead of you. Let's get started. Thanks for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you clear, science-backed information on obesity, weight control, and living your healthiest life so you can take charge of your future, starting today.